The half-orc focuses her energy for an entire year. She is in her rage. She doesn't sleep or rest. The fury culminates in a tremendous primal act as she lets out a battle cry. She takes her legendary axe and swings. Far off in the distance, local townsfolk feel the rumblings of what they assume to be an earthquake. To their astonishment, they watch as the mountain that has stood for thousands of years is sundered in two. The Barbarian has reached her true potential. Hey everyone, this is Jesse from the Laughing Lich Corporation, and today I would like to talk about the Reaver Prestige class, which is the Epic Barbarian brought to you by Epic Legacy. In this series, I'm going to be breaking down all the different Prestige classes and kind of go through them bit by bit so that you hopefully can understand this. Please like and subscribe here at Laughing Lich Corporation. We like to do what we want, and this is something I'm totally not paid for in any way, shape, or form. I just love the Epic Legacy content, and this could also help my players learn more about the actual Prestige classes that they are playing. So, how do you build an Epic Reaver? First, you need to start with a level 20 Barbarian. You need to perform an epic deed. Now, this deed could be anything. It could be killing an enemy of apocalyptic power. It could recover an item of unfathomable mystery, or something that your DM would like to put into your story that is relevant to your story. Me personally, I think that the last one, something that your DM and you kind of work out together and figure out what you want your legend to be, I think that that's the most appropriate thing to do. Now, your class features. At level 21, you gain the normal 1d12 hit points plus your con per Reaver level. It's the same as your Barbarian level. Now, you also gain one saving throw of your choice. I recommend that you choose Wisdom, as you already have Danger Sense for your dex. Kind of gives you a little upper hand there. So having that extra proficiency bonus in your Wisdom could also be helpful to withstand any kind of charm effect. You have an ability score improvement, so your typical +2 on one ability score, or +1 on two different ability scores. You also get an epic feat. Now, I'm going to break down a little bit about epic feats later on, or you can choose the epic ability score improvement, which is a +4 to any ability, or a +2 to two different abilities. You also get the overpowering strikes. So this is kind of like your reckless attack. You gain epic advantage for all strength-based attacks, and enemies also gain epic advantage against you. Instead of dealing the extra damage that you normally would from the base Barbarian, you actually get 2d4 damage plus 1d4 per Rancor level. Now we're going to talk about Rancor in the next level at level 22. So at level 22, you gain the Rancor ability. This is your main feature as the Reaver. You can choose to enter an epic rage, and at the start of each of your turns, you gain one level of Rancor. If an epic creature doesn't harm you, you cannot enter another epic rage until a long or short rest. You also gain the ability to do feats of strength once per turn. These are kind of like maneuvers. You have access to all of them whenever you gain this feature. Your DC on anything that you do is your strength plus your proficiency bonus plus 8. And that's your strength modifier, I should say. So the main highlights, just to give you an idea of what you can do, are things like the Death Hug. When you have a Rancor of 2, you have to grapple a creature. They go unconscious while you are grappling, and if they fail their save, they can repeat at the start of their turn. You can also do Pulverize. At Rancor level 3, you have access to this. You automatically roll a 20 on an attack, a crit. The target has to make a con save or be stunned until the start of their next turn. Very powerful. You can also use something called Crush Magic, which is a Rancor level 5. You succeed against a saving throw, and the effect is greater than instant. You can shatter it. You make a strength saving throw against the spell save DC, ending it on a success. So this is to help you get out of those tricky situations that require you to make a saving throw. Limit Breaker. When your turn ends, you gain another turn on initiative -10. So your initiative -10, you get another turn. However, your epic rage ends after that. This one is really good if you know you're about to be finished with a big battle, just to get an extra turn in before the end of the round. This one is huge. At level 23, you get another ability score improvement. This is your +2 to 1 ability score or +1 to 2 different ability scores. At level 24, you gain the explosive rage feature. You gain 3 or 6 levels of Rancor. If you choose 3, you get it back on a short rest. If you choose 6, you get this feature back on a long rest. So this is a way for you to just get into a rage, and as soon as you turn into a rage, you get 3 or 6 levels of Rancor off the bat, so that way you can start doing your feats of strength. At level 25, you get another ability score improvement and another epic feat. Or you can choose the epic feat to get a +4 to an ability score or +2 to 2 different ability scores. At level 26, you have your subclass, your normal Barbarian subclass. You get an epic primal path. This is to give you even more of your subclass and have it scale with your prestige class. To give you an idea, these are just examples. The pathway of the Berserker. You gain no exhaustion from going into a frenzy rage. And as a reaction, when you're at half of your hit points, you can enter a bloodlust while epic raging. You gain 3 attacks instead of 2. Your base movement is increased by 20 feet. You score a crit on a 19 or 20, and it has a long rest recharge. Another example is the Path of the Totem Warrior. You can perfectly imitate the sound of your totem beast, so you can call out as an eagle or a bear. When you go into the bear type, while touching ground, you can use your reaction to be immune to pushed, pulled, thrown, or magically teleported. As an eagle, while in epic rage, you gain flying speed equal to your walking speed. As an elk, you gain a base walking speed increased by 30 feet. As a tiger, every 10 feet of movement, you deal an extra 1d6 for an attack damage. And as a wolf, you gain blindsight out to 30 feet. At level 27, you gain another ability score improvement. At level 28, you get the Flash of Ferocity. When you roll initiative, you immediately enter a rage. And you can choose that to be an epic rage or not. At level 29, you get the ability score improvement, as well as an epic feat, similar to what we discussed before. And at level 30, you get the Infinite Might. At the start of your turns, if you have 6 or more levels of Rancor and took damage or attempted saving throw against a mythic creature during the previous turn, you may gain 6 more levels of Rancor. So why is this important? Because you can go beyond your levels of Rancor and you gain more 1d4 from your overpowering strikes per Rancor level. And you can keep on stacking and stacking and stacking and stacking. You could potentially have infinite amount of damage as long as you stay alive and as long as you still have your Rancor. So before, we talked about potential feats that you could take as a Reaver. Now, I'd recommend these feats. There are plenty more, of course, that are much more flavorful, but in terms of what will help you as a Reaver prestige class, one of them is Blinding Speed. Your speed, whenever you move from place to place, it looks instant to anyone else. You gain no opportunity attacks. There are no ways to get an opportunity attack against you, and you are heavily obscured while you are moving. When you take the dash, you also take the dodge action. And when you perform light physical activity that normally takes 1 hour, it only takes you 10 minutes. This one, another one, is called Deathbringer. You gain an additional weapon attack per turn. Creature challenge rating 5 or lower are insta-killed by you. Just a 1 whack, gone. Doesn't matter if they have 100 hit points and you only did 15, gone. And you know how many creatures you've killed. So a really cool flavor for the Deathbringer. Next feat would be the Lord of War. So this works for two-handed weapons, or you would choose the option for two-handed weapons. You gain 3 weapon benefits from the table that is shown here. You gain, and the ones that I recommend are the 2-weapon fighting, So two-handed weapons are considered light, so you could wield 2 battle axe. And then you could also choose the light, so when you miss, you instead deal minimum possible damage with damage dice, so whenever you have a light weapon. So I think that this also applies to throwing, but I would talk to your DM about that. And lastly, the Master Tactician feat. When you have epic advantage, you roll 3 d20s instead of 2 d20s. You cannot have epic disadvantage on attack rolls or ability checks. And you are proficient in all games of strategy, which I thought was kind of funny. But that 3d20 is allowing you to really fish for criticals. And this is exactly what this entire build is all about. Fishing for criticals. All right. So, every character has the ability to do an epic ability check once per long rest. These can be a variety of different things, but the Hero's Handbook actually points out a couple examples to get you into the idea of what these entail. So, for example, you could do an athletics check, and you throw objects as though you were a siege machine, such as a catapult or trebuchet, with a suggested difficulty challenge of 32. That doesn't seem too bad for most Reavers. They're probably going to have a 30 in strength by level 22 or so. So that seems really doable. Another example would be a athletics check. You climb a perfectly smooth surface with no handholds or purchases. You may even crawl across the ceiling like a spider. This suggested DC is, of course, 50. So probably not going to happen by yourself. You'll probably need some bardic inspiration as well as some guidance and some other things on top of that to help you stack. So on top of that, you could also do a epic constitution check. And I think for the Reaver class, these are really applicable to you. So you choose to feel no pain from an injury or affliction. Suggested DC is 35. Don't really know how valuable this one is, but another example that they give is you regrow a lost limb or extremity through your natural healing process. That's a DC of 40. Could also be semi-beneficial. Now, the last one is the one that I think that the Reaver class could do pretty often. You gain the benefits of a long rest without sleeping. So imagine that you have already exhausted your epic rage and you're in the middle of a battle and the cleric guides you and the bard inspires you and the DC is a 45 to gain the benefits of a long rest. Me as a DM, I think I would allow this to happen instantly. I think that would be really cool and thematic. Don't really care about the game breaking. I mean, 2 people are using their action to try and help you achieve this DC. So I think it's appropriate, and that would be really cool to see in a battle. So I wanted to talk about the potential maximum damage for your Reaver. So I have a few notes here that I'm just going to read off a little bit. So picture this. You're level 30 as a Reaver, and your body is scarred from all the battles you fought. You enter a mythic beast lair. They emerge from the corner of the room, and they are enormous. You roll initiative. You enter epic rage per your flash of ferocity feature. You use your explosive rage feature, achieving level 6 Rancor immediately. You're hit and take massive damage from the mythic beast, but now it's your turn. You now have 7 levels of Rancor at the start of your turn, and because of your infinite might, you can go beyond level 6, so you have 7, of course. You make 2 base attacks, plus another from the Deathbringer feat, plus another if you are Path of the Berserker. You also crit on a 19 or 20. You attack recklessly and roll 3 d20s due to the Master Tactician feat. And you take another attack because you are at Rancor 6. Use a bonus action, attack from Frenzy, and a reaction if you get hit from the Retaliation feature for the Berserker. That is 7 attacks, a crit on a 19 or 20, and you have epic advantage, so that's 3d20s every single attack. You are wielding 2 great axes, so let's just say they're a +3 great axe, not even including any kind of like a legendary relic or whatever, just +3s. I don't think that that's too difficult to achieve, especially if you're level 30. You're nearly a god. 2d6 plus 13 damage. On average, this might change a little bit, but plus 13 damage per attack from strength and plus 3. So all of this equals 19 times 7 attacks, or roughly 67 damage per turn. Now, on top of all of this, 9d4 from your overpowering strikes per Rancor per hit. So, if you hit every single time, that is roughly another 63 damage. What if you also use the Pulverize Feat of Strength and get a natural 20 no matter what? You automatically get a natural 20. Don't forget about the base Brutal Critical. Roughly per turn, and I think this is on the low end, you are dealing 136 damage per turn. And then on the next turn, you do it again, all over again. Everything the exact same, plus another 1d4. Because your Rancor is cumulative. So I think that this has insane... This is absolutely the frontliner, the damage dealer, the in-your-face, take down anything. That is what the Reaver is all about. So some cool non-combat examples. The thing that really comes to mind is you are just an intimidating individual that no one, human, creature, beast, wants to mess with. Whether you are in a devil's city or the furthest layer of the abyss, there is nothing that's going to touch you. Absolutely nothing. You can achieve almost anything through a good intimidation. And who needs anything else? So, in closing, the Reaver really does make you feel like the ultimate raging machine, dealing insane amounts of consistent damage. If you enjoyed the work that we do on this channel, please like and subscribe. And if you want to see our epic actual play campaign, please click here. In our next video, we will be covering the True Speaker, the Epic Bard. So stay tuned. Have a great day.